Hey guys, welcome to Just Talk TV, and my name is Nick, and today we're going to be talking about the Champions League roundup for game week 1. There was a lot of good topics to talk about today, but I think there's only one place to start, and that would be the surprise victory by Manchester United over Paris Saint-Germain in Group H. 2-1 was the final score to that one. Definitely a very robust game. I thought from the beginning to the end of the game it had a lot of talking points, but I thought the man of the match in the game was David De Gea. He had a good start to the game, made a lot of important saves for the team, and just made it very difficult for PSG to break them down. And in the turning point of the game coming later on, when a penalty was scored by Bruno Fernandes before the equalizer from an own goal by Anthony Martial on the other side, and finally towards the end Marcus Rashford scoring. I thought the game was very interesting, only because Paris Saint-Germain went to the final last year, and I didn't know what to expect from them this season, but I think now it's safe to say they're going to have a pretty tough start to the Champions League campaign. I don't want to say that they're going to fail. I think it's an interesting point that PSG now lost Thiago Silva. He's gone to Chelsea, and their team is looking a bit vulnerable in certain areas. And United certainly exposed a lot of that vulnerability. But I do think that there's a lot of promise. They still got Mbappe. They still got some decent players on the team. But this group they're in, they've got Manchester United and Leipzig to play against. And then they've also got the other team, which is Başakşehir, it's a Turkish team. So I don't know if Başakşehir is going to play much of a role. But I do know that Manchester United and Leipzig are going to be very competitive in this Champions League group, so PSG are in danger of missing out for the next round. I thought Neymar again went missing in this game as well, a very salient issue that he's had in certain games in the group stages of the Champions League. But if PSG hope to return to the final, they're going to need to do better, because they've got two teams here that are super competitive. I think United are enjoying the fact that they're back in the big time. They're definitely more relaxed in the Champions League, I feel, compared to how they are in the Premier League. In comparison, the performance De Gea showed that he can be a stout goalkeeper for them. And you know, last season he had a lot of bad form. There was a lot of questions about whether De Gea's washed up, whether he should leave, and all these things. But he's showing us that he's a very capable goalkeeper, and definitely one of United's biggest talking points. If you look at it, they've got De Gea, they've got Rashford, they've got Bruno Fernandes. I think when you're talking about this team as a whole, United in the Champions League look like a better proposition. Now, the biggest question then would be, what about the other team, RB Leipzig? RB Leipzig has just defeated Başakşehir 2-0. Both goals by Angelino, and Angelino's their left back, and he scored twice in this game. And Leipzig's an interesting story, because prior to the season, coming into this season, a lot of questions are asked whether RB Leipzig will be able to maintain their current form. They've made it to the group stages already 2 years in a row now, 2 seasons in a row in the Champions League, and they're looking very deadly. They've been looking very deadly the last 2 seasons, but they had to sell Timo Werner, and that was a big question mark, because everyone's saying, where are the goals going to come from? Who's going to be their main focal point now? Is it going to be Yusuf Poulsen? Is there another player in the works? The great thing about RB Leipzig this time around is that they have a fantastic defender in Dayot Upamecano, and they've got very functional wingbacks that they can use. So I think Leipzig are definitely, in my opinion, favorites to get out of this group. I do think they could mount a upset here, because a lot of people are saying United and PSG are going to go through, and I think, honestly, if you ask me, it's going to be Leipzig's going to be in the picture, and it's between United and PSG to decide who can get their act together the fastest. Everything right now points to the fact that United could breeze through this group if they can handle the other two opposition. But remember, it's game week 1, so we'll never know until the next few games. But yeah, definitely interesting point to see if United, Leipzig, PSG, those two are going to be in the mix. What about Başakşehir? I think going forward, Başakşehir, I don't think they have enough to go through in this group. but I do think that it is definitely a tough group and a very competitive group in terms of quality of opposition and quality of teams, for sure. So moving on, we'll talk about Group F, and there's only one way to start this Group F, and I just want to talk how Lazio beat Dortmund in Italy, in Rome. They beat Dortmund 3-1. And I just gotta say, I take my hats off to Ciro Immobile. Ciro Immobile is showing that he's definitely in that conversation for one of Europe's most potent strikers. And if you're talking about just what he did yesterday, the way he was involved in two of the goals that Lazio scored, it was amazing because it was a lot of good interplay. He was able to score the first goal with quite relative ease against very established defenders in Borussia Dortmund, and he was able to set up his teammate for the third goal, which was a very impressive feat as well. So, Inzaghi is doing a fantastic job with Lazio. I think the Serie A season hasn't started so well, but in the Champions League, where they've made a historical return to the Champions League, they're definitely looking like a team that's going to cause a lot of noise. And I think Dortmund, in the Dortmund side of things, Erling Haaland again scored, as he does. When has Erling Haaland never scored, right? But I do honestly believe that Erling Haaland, Ciro Immobile, two great strikers. In Dortmund's case, it's a matter of complacency. I don't see them being knocked out of the group. They will get through despite this setback. The question is, will they finish top of this group? I think Lazio stand a better chance of finishing top of this group because they've just returned to the Champions League. They're an unknown quantity at this point, and they've got a lot of great players. Ciro Immobile is one great player. Luis Alberto. The team is chocked and filled with so much talent, and Inzaghi is a capable manager. I think he's a capable manager. So I think definitely it's going to be one of those things where we need to look at Lazio and say they're a firm contender for top of the group. I think Dortmund need to get their act together. Dortmund can definitely turn things around. It's just a matter of, will they be complacent? What kind of lineup are they going to feature in every game? What's their situation like? Especially in these kind of games, I thought they had so many shots today. They had a lot of shots. They could have got back in the game, but Dortmund, for me, they were not clinical enough, and I felt that Lazio set up well against them. The goals they did concede were very telling in that sense. So that was the highlight in Group F for me, was that Lazio took the game to Dortmund and was able to put them out of contention, for sure. And I think also the other thing we need to remember is that the whole element of Dortmund is that they can field multiple types of teams. How about Reina? They've got other players on the bench they can bring in. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do moving forward. But definitely in this particular instance, I have to give it to Ciro Immobile. He's literally the stalwart, the paragon for Lazio's attacking play, along with all the other playmakers he has around him in that team. So that's really cool. I think also when you look at Luis Alberto and Ciro Immobile, they play well together, and it showed yesterday in that very crucial game. So moving on to the next group, which is Group G, I thought there were, once again, very telling, two major talking points. And one is that Barcelona, their first Champions League game this season. Now in the La Liga, Barcelona have not started perfectly, so naturally everyone's going to have problems. They had their off-season issues with Messi and all of these things. They sold Suarez. The team is a very new look team now, but I do like the fact that Barcelona, in this game especially, they went a lot younger than I thought they were going to go. Ansu Fati, Pedri, just to name a few names here that basically came in and they showed excellence, especially from the midfield. I thought they were much better, even when PK got sent off for pulling down the Hungarian team, Ferencváros striker. He was the last man, he pulled him down. I think even when PK got sent off, the balance of play was totally in Barcelona's favor, and there's only one guy we can look at for that, and that's Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi played a fantastic game. He won the penalty single-handedly. He was instrumental in setting up Ousmane Dembele for his goal. I think that Messi showed a lot of potency and ability to basically control the game from his position and make everything come towards him. And when you looked at it as well, this gave a lot of space for right now who I think is the biggest next star generation talent for Barcelona, and that's Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati has been incredible. Dude, like, he's one of the best, like, offensive young talents I've seen in a while. Keep in mind, it's not like he's doing anything crazy. He's not really controlling the game or anything like that. He is, however, creating opportunities and space for himself so he can score important goals for Barcelona. And I think going forward, you can see that Messi is looking around him and he's saying, we gotta build the game, and we gotta push the game up, and feed the ball more into the path of players like Ansu Fati. Pedri scored as well. I thought that was a impressive Champions League debut for the youngster, and it just shows that the next generation of Barcelona players are now at the door. It's a question of whether they can push forward and maintain consistent performances in all these competitions that they have. So they have the La Liga, they have the Champions League. In the Champions League, against opposition like this, it is very possible to field your young players, and then Barcelona have been taking huge advantage of that, especially because one of the great things about it is that they have so many good, talented young superstars who can step into the roles and do a good job. Another player who made his debut in the Champions League was Serginho Dest from America, and I thought he played a very solid game, not a place out. He was very balanced, kept the team in it, provided some good support going forward. He's one of these kids who's going to be a big name in a couple of years, and you can see how the DNA of Barcelona's next generation is going to look. Now, the real question for me is, they've got two other teams. They've got one other team to worry about in this group. That's Juventus. They've got Dynamo Kiev. I think this is a pretty straightforward group, in my opinion. I think it's Barcelona. I think it's Juventus. Again, in football, you never know. But based on what we've seen so far, it looks like Barcelona and Juventus are going to be fighting for a 1 and 2 spot. So the question is Barcelona, when they face Juventus, what's that going to be like? That's going to be a very interesting game. I'm gonna enjoy that game. Not to mention, if Cristiano is playing in that game, it's the reunion between Cristiano and Messi. So that's another fantastic another fantastic spectacle to watch, because that would be just great if both those guys were in it. Again, I would say that if you look at the balance of probabilities, in a minute I'm about to talk about Juventus, but Barcelona steady right now, and we'll be able to see more after the El Clasico. But this team has that building, because I can see Coutinho's come in. He's back on form. He's been looking really, really reliable compared to when he first joined Barcelona. In comparison to his first stint in Barcelona, this is much better. I think Coutinho played a much better role and definitely was able to influence the game as well. Him, Ansu Fati, Messi, and then these young players around them, I think these are important. This is an important thing. And then you've got Sergio Busquets, for example, still holding the midfield. They're going towards that mix of young and old right now. Let's see if they can get the mix right. I think Barcelona's got a good chance of being definitely a favorite for the Champions League this year, if they can get that act together of that balance of that team. We'll also have to see after the Juventus game for sure. So the next game for the group, which is Group G, is Juve against Dynamo Kiev. It's the return of the Morata, and he's back at Juve now. This game had no Ronaldo. He was not in for this game. Instead, there was Chiesa in the wing position. Cuadrado also made an appearance in this game as well. I think Alvaro Morata is a very functional striker for a team like Juve, who needs outlet, especially up front. I thought that at times Juve last season seemed a bit passive, not enough going forward, not enough substance to their attacks. And when you play this kind of game, you got to be able to score. And we can all have seen Higuain. He wasn't at an age anymore where he could consistently be the striker that Juventus needed him to be. And that's where Alvaro Morata, I think, benefits a team like Juve, because he's the kind of striker. I wouldn't say Morata's a world beater or anything like that, but I think Morata's a very functional striker in a system that works. And if you put him in a team like Juventus, for example, he flourishes because he can get his spot. He knows how to take advantage of certain situations. And I thought Juve made a good account for themselves. He scored 2 goals, and Juventus are up and running now. So it's almost a perfect start for Juventus. Really, what more do you need? A clean sheet, and also just overall right now they've started the best. Again, Juventus' big test with Barcelona. So when these two teams meet, it's going to be a huge deal, because I think that will tell who's going to finish first and second in this group. So definitely, I feel like Barcelona's got a lot of things to be a bit like, they've got a lot of things going for them, but it's a very fragile thing, isn't it? It's like there's so much potential with Barcelona right now, but it's such a fragile atmosphere they have there with the Messi situation and with everything else, Ronald Koeman and all these things. I think that's why they need to be able to present a solid front through the Champions League, because through the Champions League now they have an outlet for these youngsters. They have so much capability. They have Lionel Messi and the leadership group, especially with Sergio Busquets and the others. I think they have a solid team, and I think that they can do a lot of damage. Likewise for Juventus, I think their makeup is. I still don't understand why Paulo Dybala is not starting, and it makes no sense to me. But I think that Alvaro Morata is a very functional striker for them. I think when Ronaldo comes back, it'll be interesting. I think Chiesa is a fantastic signing. Juventus look like a good team, so it's going to be interesting. That group's going to be very, very explosive at the top, very competitive at the top of the group. These first and do out of Kiev and Fenerbahce, the Hungarian team. I think those two are pretty much fighting for third. I don't know at the moment. I think Kiev probably will make it for the Europa League. So pretty much that's what I would think about this group going forward. Juve and Barca to go through. Who's 1 and 2? Who knows? So thank you guys. We'll be doing part 2 of the Champions League roundup. And again, I would like to remind everyone to please comment, like, and subscribe if you would, please. And I will see you in the flip side.